Hello, this is Captain Barry speaking, and I will be the narrator for this brief overview of the MAKO breathing air module, which is the standard SCBA compressor located at all LFD stations. I will also go over the stationary containment fill station located exclusively at stations 31 and 33. The next two slides are dedicated to the MAKO breathing air module control panel, the CO and moisture monitor, as well as the fill panel. This slide is focused on the primary operational components. Starting with the top right, e-stop, and working clockwise, we will go over items where I place indicator arrows along with a brief description for reference. The emergency stop will instantly disconnect power from the compressor and all electronics. Once engaged, turn the emergency stop button clockwise to reset prior to restarting the compressor. The on-off button turns on the CO and moisture monitoring unit. It will light up green if this feature is on. The on button starts the compressor. Both the on-off and on button must be pressed to complete this process. The off button stops the compressor and prevents the compressor from automatically restarting. The fill panel includes both the flow meter as well as the flow lever. The flow meter controls the rate at which the air flows to the fill station. The flow lever controls airflow to the CO and moisture monitor. The Cal 0 and Cal 20 parts per million selections are only to be used during CO calibration. Ensure that the lever is pointing towards the sample selection prior to compressor operation. The CO and moisture monitor display screen provides navigational instruction at startup. A green circle has been placed over the star key, which is the button utilized for navigation through the display features. The compressor is equipped with a drying chamber, purification chamber, and separator which remove moisture and oil from the compressed air. These elements are stored in the condensate reservoir. It is imperative that these elements be removed from the compressor frequently. Prior to starting the compressor, ensure that the condensate reservoir has been drained. The condensate drain lever is yellow and located on the left side of the compressor. To start the compressor, press the on-off button, then the on button. Verify operations on the CO and moisture monitor. The compressor will initiate a purge cycle prior to pressurization. The initial screen on the CO and moisture monitor display screen will indicate verification of the CO panel setup. Press the star key. The next screen will direct the verification of the flow lever, referred to as the selector lever. Ensure this lever is pointed towards sample. Lastly, adjust the flow rate accordingly. The flow rate at station 31 and 33 is 1 standard cubic feet per hour. Station 32 is 0.5 standard cubic feet per hour. The gauge measures in cubic centimeters per minute. Conversion is not necessary. Adjust the flow meter in accordance with the indicated flow rate and disregard the unit of measurement. With the warning arrow, you will see that the green light will illuminate on the far left warning indicator when the air pressure has reached the high set point and the compressor has shut down. The high air alarm is purely a notification that the compressor has reached optimal full pressure and is shut down as a result. To the right of that, you will see a warning indicator with a picture of a thermometer. The light will illuminate red when the air temperature is too high for safe operation. The compressor will shut down as a result. The far right alarm is the low oil pressure indicator, which indicates that the oil pressure was too low for more than 10 seconds. The compressor will shut down as a result. The compressor pressure gauge is just that, the measurement of the current pressure of the compressor. Moving on to the stationary containment fill station, As illustrated, the top row of valves with a green arrow through them are the valves utilized in filling the cascade cylinders. When filling the cascade cylinders, all of these valves may be opened simultaneously. The valves labeled from bank open the cascade cylinders and allow for filling SCBA cylinders from stored air. Refer to the bottle pressure gauge when determining which bank to open. The pressure gauge of the cascade cylinder must exceed the SCBA cylinder pressure. The goal of the cascade system is pressure equalization. Once pressure equalizes, no further refill action will occur. If the SCBA cylinder pressure is more than the corresponding bank pressure, the fill process will be defeated. When opening the from bank valves, only open one bank at a time until pressure is equalized. Sequentially, move through the banks one at a time until a full SCBA cylinder is achieved. Never, I repeat never, open both a to and from bank at the same time. MAKO warns against this operation. The fill valve does exactly that, fills the SCBA cylinder. The storage bypass is only to be used when there is an operational need due to a fault with the cascade system. This allows for air from the compressor to directly fill the SCBA cylinders. The outlet pressure gauge may be adjusted using the pressure regulator. The pressure should remain at 4,500 psi and require no action. However, note that directions for increasing and decreasing the fill pressure are located directly on the knob. Simply push in and turn clockwise to increase pressure, or counterclockwise to decrease pressure. The auxiliary outlet is used for rescue breathing air onboard apparatus only, and air release is controlled from the auxiliary fill valve. Now that we've gone over the basic components of both the compressor and fill station, please enjoy the brief how-to video on the next slide.
Alright, now that we got done going over the basic components of both the compressor and the fill station, I wanted to demonstrate a quick how-to. First thing, before starting this compressor, we're going to come over and drain the condensate reservoir utilizing the condensate drain lever, which is yellow on this side of the compressor. Drain the oil, mist, and particulates come out of the condensate reservoir into some sort of container. Just make sure they don't end up down the drains. We don't want dirty drains. The on-off button controls the CO and moisture monitor display screen. The on button fires up the compressor. Over at the CO and moisture monitor display screen, it will indicate that it's going through a saturation purge cycle upon startup. It will also walk you through a verification process that we can navigate utilizing the star key. First thing, we want to make sure this flow lever is in the sample position. Then we're going to come over here to the flow meter. At station 1 and 3, it is at 1 standard cubic feet per hour. At station 2 is at 0.5 standard cubic feet per minute. Again, not doing any conversion factors. 1 and 3, 1, station 2 is 0.5. And it will tell you that on the CO and moisture monitor display screen. So now that our compressor is fired up, there's only 2 reasons why you would have this compressor fired up. One is to fill the cascade system and the cylinders behind the fill station. To do that, we will open all of the 2 bank valves. The bank on the compressor is essentially referring to the cascade cylinders. So we'll open all of those, we'll fill up the cascade system. The compressor will automatically shut down when the system is full. And then you would either shut down the compressor or you could leave it on. Once the pressure drops, it automatically kicks back on whatever it's set at. I think this one's set at 5,500 PSI. They're all a little bit different. The other reason would be to bypass the cascade system altogether. You have the compressor fired up, open the storage bypass, which sends air directly from the compressor to the cylinders in the fill station. That would only be if there's an emergency or some sort of air leak or some sort of problem with our cascade system. So our goal is to fire up the compressor and fill the cascade system and then refill our cylinders off the cascade system. You can have all these open at the same time. All of these are from your cascade system. You never have a to bank and a from bank open at the same time. It's one or the other. So when you're opening these, this doesn't go under the same concept as refilling the cascade system. You want to go from one bank to the two bank to the three bank to the four bank. So we're going to identify our bottle pressure. Let's say our bottle pressure was 3,500 psi. Our bank 1 was 2,000 psi. So the whole goal of a cascade system is pressure equalization. If our bottle pressure is more than our cascade cylinder, then that cylinder will not be able to fill that bottle. So if it exceeds the pressure in bank 1, we are going to start with bank 2 or 3 or wherever that pressure sequence would be. When tightening or loosening all of these valves in the system, they're soft seat valves. So every time I come up to them, they're really, really wrenched down, cranked down. Just use 3 or 4 fingers and just basically open, close them snug. They don't have to be overly tight. We're not trying to prevent leaks. Just being snug will be sufficient to close the system. So again, opening up one of these at a time depending on the bottle pressure. The other mistake I usually see clearly from bank, at some point all of these were open. They are all at the same pressure. So ideally, our banks would get sequentially more pressure as you go through the cascade system, with bank 4 being our optimal pressure or maximum pressure. So now we're going to go over just how to refill a cylinder using the fill station. I've already pre-connected a cylinder. So right here we got the bleeder valves. Again, just make sure they're snug. This other side that's not being used, you want to make sure the bleeder valve is snug, but you also want to make sure the fill valve is also closed, because we just have a loose hose in here. So once you close this, once we send pressure to that cylinder, there's also going to be air bleeding out of this hose. So now that we got this on there, everything's snug and good. Somebody had the outlet pressure way down. So this is how you adjust the outlet pressure. So you're going to push in, you're going to turn it clockwise to increase and counterclockwise to decrease. It'll be right on the knob. So we're just going to bump that up all the way up to 4,500. Which is also colored green on there for verification. So first, we're going to open up our from bank 1, assuming that it has more pressure than our bottle pressure, and then we're going to open the fill valve. Once the pressures are the same or equal, then we're going to close both of those, or close the from bank. Then we're going to open the 2 bank, then the 3 bank, so on and so forth. I think that's good.